Hello, and welcome to episode 5 of Inventor Basics. In this video, we're going to be looking at rectangular pattern, circular pattern, and mirror. All very useful features. To start off with, we will look at rectangular pattern. With both patterns, you can pattern features or solids. I'll show you both. We haven't yet gone into multi-body modelling, so modelling the solids doesn't really make sense to do at the moment, but we'll do the features. Let's create a cut. I'm going to create a cut which I can then pattern. Instead of keep drawing, we can pattern it. We can pattern the cut. So we'll extrude cut this. Now, if we go to rectangular pattern, we can select. I will select it in the model browser if it's easier. Select this feature that we want to pattern, which is the cut we just created, which is here. You'll see that's for pattern individual features. This is to pattern solids, but we're not gonna bother with solids at the moment. We'll wait until when we get into multi-body parts, it'd be easier and make more sense to then show patterning a solid. So now we have this direction 1. So we pick a direction. The first direction, you can have it in one direction, as we're showing now. So this is the column count. So how many occurrences do we want of this cut? So we want 6. Now this is the spacing, column spacing. So what's the distance we want in between? So if I go 20, click OK, this patterns. Now if we go to measure from this, which is the start of our cut, to the start of our next cut, that is 20. So the pattern doesn't put 20mm spacing in between each one. It's from start of one cut to the start of the next. As you can see here, 20. The distance, we're not going to really, it's not going to show anything really there. But the interesting one is curve length. Now curve length I find is very useful, because if we go back to spacing, if we wanted these to be equally spaced from this edge to this edge, we could keep, there's a few ways you can do it, but curve spacing I find is a quick and easiest way. We could just keep changing this to go 30 and change it again, or maybe it's 34, or you know we could keep doing that to keep guessing, but we don't want to be guessing. It wastes time and just isn't good. So what we can do is we can create a sketch, project all of our existing geometry onto the sketch, start a line from here to here. Now the distance, we know that it's going to start from here and then count the width of this, which is 15, then add another 5. We know that from what we've just looked at. So then if we then put a 20mm, we know that when it starts, it'll do 15, then we'll leave 5. So then if we go to rectangular pattern, select our feature, select our direction. When we select our direction, we select the line we've just drawn, and then curve length. Right, so this distance here is not 5, it's 10. So then we need to go back into the drawing, Yep, it's 10 mil. That was, I put it as 5. And then under here will be our sketch that we just created. So we'll put that as 25. Right. See, now we have the same distance from there, which is 10, and there, which is 10. So now we can add in, if you see here, 165 mil. We can add in 5, and it will equally space 5. We could add 8. It will always equally space these occurrences. And even if we look, this is the distance from there to there. So if we go to 10, either way, it'll always equally space. This is the quickest and the best way. So if you ever need to update a rectangular pattern, change the occurrences of it, it's easy, it's quick. Just double click, 8, done. Also, if we start a new rectangular pattern, we can select the feature. We can pick a direction 1 to go this way, spacing and the occurrences. Sorry. And then what we can do is we can go to direction 2, and then this will allow us to choose the direction, another direction, which we're going to choose up because there's no way for us to go down. We can do 5, 25, and then we have a pattern in 2 directions. And you can do the same with, as we've done with the curve length, create 2, which I'll show. So we do that, project the geometry through, just roughly draw these, make this horizontal because I drew it quickly. So this was 25, this was 25, and then we can rectangle, choose a feature, direction 1. Oh, it's right, it's picked up both as 1. Okay, so now what we can do is we can put each individual line on another sketch, then it shouldn't pick it up. So that's 25. Select the feature, select the direction. Yeah, so when you do that, if you're going to do a pattern in this way, place the lines that you're going to use for the curved length on different sketches. So we'll have 5 at curve length. There we go. Direction 2, and it's the same. 5. Sorry, not 5. 2. We'll go to 5 at curve length. And then now we've created a pattern in 2 directions that has the same spacing from the edge. Right, so that's rectangular pattern. Like I said, we could do the solids, but for this it won't really make sense. The only other part of rectangular pattern we could look at is the identical and adjust, which, yeah, we'll have a look at. Right, so we'll start a new drawing. What I'm going to draw is something that looks like this. This is to show the identical and adjust, which you could use. Okay, we'll do a dimension 50, fully constrained. Extrude 100. Right, so what I'm going to do now is place holes. Project the geometry through of this face, place holes here. So, diameter, we'll have as 10. What I'll do to show how it works as well is, if I place this on the side, then dimension from the bottom at 30. Extrude cut at 20. Yep. Now, to show how this will work, actually I need to go all the way through there. I will pattern this feature in this direction. We'll have 4, 50, 25 spacing. Bit too much, 20. As you can see, I've patterned it and it's followed the size and length of this. So the whole, even though we've gone all the way through on this part, it doesn't go all the way through. It's just copying this. If we go into here, it's got identical, which means it's going to pattern identical to what I've selected. And if we go to adjust, change that to adjust and click OK, then it will adjust and then see that the original extrusion we had was actually to go through all. So then it will take that and then go through all. Just to show again, if we go to adjust, identical, it will pattern identical to that cut, which is why it stops there. Sorry. And then adjust, it will pattern all the way through. So that's pretty useful, that will come in handy. Right, next I'm going to show you how to pattern around a belt, I'll call it, as this can be quite hard and quite confusing a lot of the time. Another little tip while we're here, if you want to, this is a slot, I've just created a slot, it's on a rectangle drop down. If I select this radius and then go over to here, you can see it's got the line with 2 arrows. That will only dimension that center line. If I click on here on the radius, and then if I go to nearly opposite, so if you follow the line, you can see it's changed to like a little dimension tangential onto a circle. If I go down, change it to the arrows with 2 arrows. If I go up, it changes to that. Click when it's on that, then that will allow you to dimension from the end of the radius to the end of the radius. Very useful. I used to find that it took me quite a while before I actually learned that. Constrain it to the center, and then we'll extrude it by 30mm. Technical illustration so we can see the edges. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a circle on here at 15mm. Now I want to pattern this circle around this belt. Fully constrained, we'll cut it. We'll cut it 10mm. Now I want this to be patterned around here. Actually, what I'm going to do is just make this a little wider, as I think we'll be able to see it a bit better. There we go. So I need to pattern this all the way around. And how I can do that is start a sketch on the top, project the geometry, so then we get in the outline of that we can use to select. Then we go to rectangular pattern, select the feature, which is a hole, select the direction, which is we want the projected line we've just created, but at the minute, as you can see, it's only turning the radius red and then the straight line red. So what we can do is right click, select other, and then as you can see now, have a little drop down list, edge, curve, face, edge. So now, instead of letting us just select an edge, it's letting us select that curve. As you can see, it was all turned red. Now you can see it's placed a hole there. So what we need to do is change the direction, select how many we want. We'll go for 10 at the moment. Then select curve length. Now as you can see, that's going the wrong direction, so we can flip it. This is also something that you need to look out for. You can see this green dot. This means this is where it's going to start from. So we need the green dot to be here. So if we start that again, direction, features, select the extrusion. Direction, right click, select other, curve, still keeps putting the green dot there. Right, let's have one more go. Features, direction. We need to, what we can do is if we project this, select the feature, select the direction. Right, what I've done there is I projected through the point on here, which as you can see now has put that green dot from where it's going to start where I want it. As before, it was up here, it was going in the wrong way. So if we now go to 10, then select curve length, as you can see, now it's going the correct way. Yet again, the whole reason for these videos, when things like that happen, it's good because then it allows me to show you why it does it and then how to fix it. You know, if it went perfect every time, you wouldn't learn. It could happen to you and you wouldn't know why, or just because it starts there and you perhaps wouldn't realise. But now, from projecting that point and selecting the line there, it's starting it from there. Now, as you can see, it's not going round as we want it to. These are okay. Then as it comes to the radius, the hole doesn't follow this radius, and then it's sticking out too far here. The way we fix this is if we do this drop down menu, on direction 2, click direction 1, and then as we can see, when we click OK, it starts to follow it around, and we can edit the number. We go to 12, and as you can see, then it follows that profile that we want it to follow, and that is rectangular pattern. Now we'll look at circular pattern. We'll start off with drawing a circle with a radius of 80. So a diameter of 80, sorry, not radius. Now, what we'll do is we'll draw, it doesn't have to be a circle, it could be a square, it could be anything, but we'll do a 10mm diameter hole. Line that up, dimension it from this center point to 30. Now the circular pattern, sorry, allows us to pattern this around here. So feature, select the feature. The rotation axis could be the outside. If we click OK, Oh, I forgot to, let's delete that. I forgot to extrude cut it. Actually, while I'm here, I'm going to turn on the Z-axis, because we can also use an axis. So I was going to show. So the feature, you can use, as you can see, the outside of the circle, or if we just go into it again just to show, we can also select the axis we created, and then that produces the pattern that we want. Also, we can go back, and if you look at the degree, we could do 180. So then them 6 holes that we want, we've placed this pattern, will be spread over 180 degrees. Or we can go 90, which will be really close, so then we could change it to 4. So now them holes will only be patterned around 90 degrees. Could be useful in quite a few cases. Down here we have the identical and adjust. And with the positioning method, we have fitted, which we had 2 over 90 degrees. If we go to 5, that will fit 5 occurrences in 90 degrees. And if we go incremental, if we place 180, it will place, if we just go to 2, it will place these at 180 degrees. The other occurrence will be 180 degrees away. So if we went to 270, just so you can see from here going round, that's 270 degrees. And that's the circular pattern. Now we'll look at mirror, the mirror feature. I'll show you to mirror a cut would be a good place to show how it works. So if we add, to mention this up, fully constrained, extrude. Okay. Now if I place a cut, it doesn't have to be a cut. I'll do a cut and like an added on piece that we want to mirror over. So let's fully dimension this. And then we'll do a circle. Just for something a little bit different. I'll make that tangential with the bottom, all fully constrained. Now on this plate we will have an origin that's in the middle, the YZ plane. We'll make that visible, which you can see, that's in the middle. Now we'll extrude cut this. Now because we drew on the same sketch, we've lost the circle that we was going to extrude to show how to mirror. Now if you ever draw on the same sketch, this will always happen. Here, this is the sketch it's on. So now to get this circle back, we right click on the sketch and then select share sketch. Okay, now that will share the sketch as it says. So now we have this circle back to reuse. So yet again, another good little thing that we can see from doing this is if you draw more than one piece that you're going to use for features on sketches, once you use one of them profiles to extrude, cut, or put a hole in or anything, all of the sketches will disappear. Then you have to find the feature, which I know is this extrusion, right click on the sketch, share sketch, then that will share the sketch again for you to use other features on the sketch. So now we have extrude, we can extrude this. If we look, it's not the way we want it, it's sticking up, we don't want that, we want it sticking down, which then it thinks we want to cut it, but we don't, we want to add to it. So we'll, instead of that one, it was on that one because it thought it was going to cut, but we want to add again to join, as you can see, and then we'll click OK and it joins it. And then if you want to get rid of the sketch, find the sketch, right click, turn the visibility off, and there we go. Now the mirror command, again you can mirror features or a solid. Solid will go into another video because we've only got one solid at the minute and it wouldn't make much sense to mirror, so it might just get confusing. So we'll feature, we can have a click at the feature on in the space, model space, or we can find it in the tree, whichever you find easier. Then mirror plane, click that. So we've got the mirror plane, select the mirror plane, click OK, then we have it mirrored. We've mirrored this cut by that plane. Same with the extruded part we put on. Select, mirror, mirror, done. And that's the mirror command. Pretty simple, very useful. Saves drawing, you know, keep drawing and drawing. You know, and you could mirror again, you could put another plane down here and then mirror. Yeah, it's very useful and you'll use that quite a lot. That's all for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it and I hope I explained it in ways you can understand it, which is what I try to do. You know, and as we go along we find little errors or little things which hopefully you've learned from. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.